What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 4 Golden. Last time, we had a lot of save scumming in order to try to salvage my idea of trying to get all of the costumes. Ultimately, with zero extra time to spare, we were successful in finishing up Naoto's social link. And I have gone and made a separate save file that allows us to get the costume. So hopefully I'll be able to have all of that taken care of pretty much after the end of the game. Once I'm done with the Let's Play, I will try my best to get all of that and show off all of the costumes in a bonus video. I know there are other videos out there that show off all the different costumes, but a lot of them are just kind of bare bones and also just from around the time that Golden originally came out. So I'm gonna try to have a more up-to-date one, along with showing off at least a few extra things like the different poses that each character can do afterwards. In this episode, we still have quite a few other things left to do. Like I said, we're still down 11 rank ups, but we're just going to have to manage whenever possible. So anyway, let's go ahead and read the Ocha Way. We don't really have anything else that we can do since we've managed to finish all the models, so now it's nothing but book reading. Okay, so we've got a lot of these two furs to get through. Why does this feel like it's just turning into Persona 2? Alright. So now is our deadline. If we want to do any sort of Christmas Eve event, we have to head on into the TV world today. So before we get going over there, I at least want to head on over to the shopping district. And the first thing I'm gonna do is buy us some more taps. I've been pretty neglectful on this, but you know what? SP is SP. Okay, and then I want to head on into Shiroku, because I definitely want to make sure that I have at least a good amount of just regular recovery. Man, I've got a lot of Maka leaves, but that should be plenty. I'll grab me a few more revival beads. Bombs of life I should be fine on. Sedative. I'll buy a few more sedatives. Stimulants are useless. Go homes I'm definitely gonna want quite a bit. That should be plenty. Anything else? I think I am good. Okay. So I should be stocked up on all the items that I need. There shouldn't be anything over at Daidara's that we really need. So with everything taken care of, let's go ahead and gather everyone at the food court and let's head on into the TV.
We're all here.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, and since we are pretty much good on so many of our social links, let's see if we can fuse anything. After there's another Marie poem. Alright, what does it say this time? Huh. That's different.
Release yourself. Release yourself. From desire, from impulse. Logic and rationales are excuses for the weak. Release yourself. Your heart's voice. Your internal scream. In exchange for a lost voice, grab hold of your proof of life. Never let it go.
Why did she decide to write this in her offhand? Never question an artist's motives. Uh-oh.
What is this? Huh?
I swear, like, there's not really much reason for all these poems to just be lying around. I don't think there's ever given a reason besides just, like, everything that happens in the Velvet Room happens for a reason. But I swear, this is just Margaret messing with Marie this entire time. That is my headcanon for all this. Anyway, do I need to register? I don't think I need to register either of these. So I also don't think there's any sort of fusions that we need to do. Yeah, there's nothing really there, but we don't really need any Arcana. At the very least, like, not at this point in time. So I think what I'll do, also, yes, all of these other personas are now changed to Hunger. Just an aesthetic change, it doesn't actually change anything about the personas themselves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see just what personas I have that I can fuse to be pretty good, and try to free up some space just so that way I can have quite a few just really powerful, capable personas. If there happen to be Magician, Emperor, and Lovers, which are the 3 Arcanas that we still need afterwards, that's fine. Jin seems to be pretty good for that. Emperor... not really so much Emperor, but that could come later. We're 1 level away from Sibylle, too. So, you know, there might be some room afterwards to try to get some more stuff, as well as getting other personas through Shuffle Time. But I'm gonna go see what sort of personas that I can make. So excuse me while I go and check that out. Alright, this might be a pretty good persona just because of what he gets. Plus, Magician. So, we are fusing away Suiki and Thoth. in order to fuse Jin. Okay, so Zeodyne, Mediarahan. Actually, do I want Mediarahan? Null Wind is honestly pretty good as well. I'd honestly like both Regenerate and Invigorate too. That way I just have some consistent healing in both regards. So you know what? I think that's good. You now get the power of Robin Williams. Rest in peace. Okay. So, as long as he gets has more strength. Okay, well, at the very least, magic seems to be a pretty preferred stat, and he does get resist physical. Ooh, next is fire boost. That wouldn't be bad. But hey, resist physical is just a really good generic move. Plus, regenerate is gonna help out a lot. Who's ready for everyone's favorite persona? So we're fusing away Suzaku, Clotho, and Ananta in order to fuse Mara. Okay, so out of curiosity's sake, okay, definitely want Masuku Kaja. A lot of resists would be nice. Auto Masuku Kaja wouldn't be bad. But 3 different resist skills. Okay, Wind is the only one that's really not needed. Okay, so Invigorate 3. Masuku Kaja. Dekunda also wouldn't be too bad just to keep having that on someone. And... does Mara naturally get Fire Amp? It does. Okay. So we don't need to worry about that. So let's go ahead and... is there anything really coming up that I need to worry about? I don't think so. There's nothing really much that's too different from anything that I have. So, resist the lack, why not? Everyone's favorite Dick Chariot. Okay, so what do we get? Unfortunately, Mari is more of a physical user. Okay, so Power Charge, Makarakarn. Absorb Physical is honestly really good. I'm going to go ahead and replace... To be honest, I don't really use Power Charge. That's definitely more of a Chie thing. And there's Fire Amp, which we get! Cool! And we can replace Makarakarn with that. Alright. Overall, not too bad, especially with just the Absorb Physical now. Making sure we've got all of any sort of physical attacks taken care of. Y'all need some Jesus after some Mara. And well, it's not Jesus. Messiah doesn't exist in this game, but an Archangel's close enough. So we are fusing away Raphael and Quetzalcoatl in order to fuse Uriel. Okay, so Garudyne, just so that way we can kind of keep some type coverage. He doesn't get Mahama on, and that's something I do want to hold on to. Megadola is also something I want to hold on to. I have Dekunda on, I believe it's Mara. So I'll go ahead and pass down Amrita. Just having ways of getting rid of status ailments is going to be nice. Alright. It would be nice to just get more magic just to increase the power of Megidola. Alright, high counter, Agidyne. And Endure Dark. So that wouldn't be bad. Still not super great. Ooh, but we get Fire Amp. Now, the big question is, what do we want to get rid of for that? I mean, that will only increase the power of Agidyne. And honestly, if I really want to use Fire, Mara. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be super good. I guess I could replace Hama-On with Mahama-On. Because at the very least, like, I know light. So as long as there's more than one shadow, that's not going to really be too big of a deal. Yeah, we'll get rid of Hama-On. Ooh, that Null Dark is really good, though. Just to make sure I cover any sort of potential weaknesses. Alright, that should be good for now. This is what my current Persona deck is looking like. There were a few Personas that just did not get fused away, including Diz, which I find funny since it's like, oh, I kept my Magician as I made a Magician. Anyway, I'm gonna have Uriel equipped just because I really want to get that level up. And our first trip is to Heaven. We've got plenty of quests that we need to take care of, as well as just getting to the optional boss. Besides which, we are definitely going to need to do this anyway for the other optional boss. Alright, let's go ahead and change up our outfits. Alright, I think this will work. Now, I don't really have much of a topic to go about, so I guess the one thing I can go over would be some of the difficulties in trying to do a run like this, as well as just making sure, you know, with all the save states. I was gonna say, with all the save states we've done, it might be important to, you know, go over some of the interesting things I've learned. Holy hell! The first fight, and I still have Uriel equipped. So you know what? We'll just do that so that way we can also get a sweep bonus. I don't care about the half money and half experience. Let's just get Uriel that level up. That was so fast! Okay, now what do I want to get rid of for that? Honestly, I'm thinking high counter. I've already got 2 other Personas that can deal with physical pretty handily. So it's a lot more consistent. Anyway, some of the challenges of trying to do just a run like this, even though, like, yes, I have all the answers available, and yes, this is New Game Plus, it is still a bit of a challenge just trying to make sure that everything still gets done in a timely manner. Because there are things that just, like, there's so much to cover, and if it's not written down, sometimes, yeah, I just straight up forget about a few things. Oh, and already we got the animal guide. Nice. So, there are a bit of challenges there. I think probably the biggest challenge is just trying to make sure that everything still gets done in terms of points. Because that's always kind of been an issue when it comes to trying to do a max social link run, is that sometimes you do need to take into account social links that require extra time. And, I mean, a lot of it is just all the extra content. Just because I remember, like, if you were doing a near perfect max social link run in the original Persona 4, you generally have like 2 weeks to spare. Now granted, you do have pretty much a whole extra month if you get access to the 3rd semester, but I'm just kind of thinking back to like Persona 5 Royal, and even in Royal, you didn't need that extra semester. Like, you can realistically get through everything that you need in Royal even with all the extra social link stuff and all the extra unlocks, and still have every social link done besides the last 5 of Kasumi, which isn't even accessible until the 3rd semester, done well before. And I think part of it has to do with just how much extra points you have available. Honestly, with Kawakami and Chihaya, those two really trivialize a lot of the time management in Persona 5.
There, got it. It's weak to fire. This'll be easy.
Okay, so that is one of Risei's new abilities, just immediately identifying a weakness that an enemy has.
Persona!
Enemy down.
That's nice.
You've become even more dependable.
Oh, nice, I leveled up. And when it comes to Persona 3, I mean, very specifically Reload, Reload allows you to basically give up a nighttime slot in order to gain extra social link points, which is more than a fair trade-off, because by the time you get access to that, even after all of the bonus stuff that Reload introduces for the nighttime stuff, you're pretty much already done with all of that anyway. So that immediately eliminates any potential need for any sort of remaining rank ups that may require extra time. And I mean, those are all nice quality of life things that were introduced after Golden. But of course, Golden doesn't have that stuff because, you know, it was introduced later. Okay, we got a firecracker from Kanji and a chest key from Yosuke. So, I mean, one of the big problems when it comes to Golden is that, yes, you do have about an extra month or so. But there are a lot of extra things that are available to take up your time. You have all of Marie's social link, plus all of the extra spending time that are mandatory with her, since when it comes to Marie, those spending time have to be spending time. The game doesn't tell you that you need to just spend your time with her. So it's not just a matter of just going to the shrine at night, you have to be able to just go and hang out with her during the day, which is, you know, a precious resource. So you've got maybe like 13 rank ups that you have to spend, either 10 rank ups plus the 3 mandatory spending times. So that's 13 different events that you have to hang out with her, plus an extra 3, maybe 4 with Adachi. So there's all of that you have to do. So that's already about 17 extra days that you have to spend. And then there's a lot of the extra bonus stuff if you want to spend time with that, like the scooter trips. The scooter trips all require a full day to do if you want to get extra skills. And if you want the skill cards from Chagall, that is yet another spending day that you have to spend. Now again, I do not recommend ever getting the skill cards at Chagall if you're going for a max social link run. But if that is something that you want or need, then you're looking at even more days. So you've got around 17 to spend just on the extra rank ups, plus then all of the extra bonus stuff that you want to do if you want to increase the oh no, you don't, get back here! If you want to increase the capabilities of your party members and get them unique skills that they wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Come, Himiko.
Hey, one of Risei's new buffs. Oh, not really necessary, but still greatly appreciated.
Enemy in style.
Especially with the Megiddola, So, Heat Riser, Mind Charged Megiddola almost one-hit KOs these guys, which is really nice. Let's see. I mean, I guess I could just go with Mara. Mara's really the only one that really has any sort of physical attack. You know what? Ooh, did not... Well, then again, I did lower the evasion.
Last one. Go for it.
An utter victory by Feather Swan.
Alright. So yeah, I guess just replacing those skills really was worth it.
Yay! I leveled up!
Hey, and she leveled up.
Have I gotten a little stronger?
As did Yukiko.
I gained a level.
And Naoto. And she gets Makarakarn. I am not changing out this setup for anything besides Megadola.
It's level
Oh,
up
Henrise
time.
leveled up too. So, if you want to have any of those extra bonus things, if you want your allies to get a bunch of skills that would give them some extra capabilities, if you want to just get yourself some extra skill cards that you might need for fusions or any other setup, those also take up time. So yes, the game does give you an extra month, but it really gives you a lot of other things to consider spending your time with. Plus, there are extra events that then also take up more time. Hey, I thought the tables were one of the things we needed. So, there's also fewer days. There's some extra days that are taken up by mandatory events. You have the fireworks festival, you have the concert, you have the beach trip. So there are a lot more days that are taken up. Granted, there's not a lot of them that are taken up with this, but it's still enough where every day matters when it comes to trying to do a max social link run. So having more days just taken up with a bunch of different things. Plus, I'm not entirely sure if just some of the random rainy days were just replaced with thunderstorms. But if thunderstorms replace just regular days, then you have even less time. So even with the extra days, it basically kind of comes out to just a net neutral. Ooh, Soma, very nice, I need those. It comes out as a net neutral because of all the extra things that you either need to do or would very much want to do. And so it makes trying to plan out a max social link run, especially when like you're not testing for anything and you're just kind of going in like what I'm doing and just halfway winging it, it's a lot harder to try to make sure that you're on top of everything. Because otherwise, yeah, you've got a lot of things that might be missing. Or you're not doing as optimally, like getting extra social link points with your school social links from your exams. So again, unless you know for certain where all of the you need to spend extra time parts are, which, you know, does require a bit more research to be able to plan out effectively, at that point you may as well just do a max social link run because someone else has already done that. So it does just become a lot harder to try to pan out what exactly you need to do. And honestly, I kind of find that to be a bit more of a challenge when it comes to Persona 4 in particular. Because Persona 5 has a bunch of tools at your disposal that trivializes it, even just as early as halfway through the game. And Persona 3 is a lot easier to just kind of remember, one, when a lot of people are available and what you're supposed to be doing, which is, if it's after school, do a school social link. And then Reload does make things a little bit easier with having something to do with your nighttime event, so that way you don't waste time on your daytime events. So 3 is a lot more predictable, whereas 4, everyone does kind of have around 3 days that they're available, but there's not really a whole lot of rhyme or reason when it comes to it. You just need to pretty much remember it. And your school time events are different from your party member events, because your party members are available on weekends and on holidays. So it's a lot more to keep track of. I will say trying to max out Persona 4 is generally easier than Persona 3, just because there are more nighttime events. But even still, it can be a bit of a challenge when you're any sort of extra days that Golden basically introduces it fights for that time. Now granted, not everyone's going to want to do a max social link run, but if you're going for all of the achievements and getting a full trophy list, you have to do it. So a lot of people are going to try to do that in as optimal time as possible because Persona is over 100 hours generally. So it does bring out quite a lot of challenges to try to do if you aren't following a guide one for one. Now, I do still feel confident on trying to max out everything. I am also doing a lot of extra stuff, like all the extra models and stuff, which is nowhere near required. Hey, another level up. So, it is just kind of an interesting challenge just trying to keep everything, because Persona 4 is still just down to the wire, even to the end. You're always going to have, regardless of if you're playing the original or Golden, if you play everything well, you will have about 2 weeks remaining. Hey, there's my last item. Just need to get rid of the, not maguses, but kind of like the cloaked guys. So yeah, I mean, that's just what I find just fascinating when it comes to Persona 4 in trying to do everything. Because Golden, for as much as it gives you extra time, it very much offers a lot of other alternatives. And like I was saying, like, I went and did all the models. You don't need to do all the models if you're just going after all of the achievements. But I want to do that because that's not something that most people generally know about. And honestly, is something that I do want to try to cover in a little bit more detail. A bit separately. But yeah, mostly just because not a lot of people know, and there's fewer documentation on this. Despite the fact that Golden came out in like, what, 2012? So the game's been out for over a decade, and even when it comes to just not being on the Vita, it's been out on PC since like 2018, I want to say? So there's some more stuff that I do want to just kind of cover. And again, the game, if you're trying to do other stuff, like say a max social link run, it makes you work for whatever it is that you want to try to accomplish. And it really doesn't give you that much extra wiggle room to do so.
Time for this bear to lend a paw! Do-do-do! Drill, baby, drill!
Have you seen Teddy's?
I'm ready to go.
I feel like we have, but I'm not entirely sure if we have or not. With Teddy's backup follow-up attack.
Okay, understood. Let's end
Well, there it is, in case you were wondering what it looked like. So, I mean, again, that's what I find fascinating, is the game really does make you consider what to spend your time on. Because it can be quite challenging to really pick what do you want to spend your time on, what do you want to try to focus on. Icicle Val would be really good for GA if she was... I guess that would be something good for Teddy, admittedly, but eh. But yeah, like I was saying, it really does make you think of what exactly do you want to do, which does unfortunately comes with the consequence of any sort of deviations from a max social link run does carry with it a lot of risk because you don't have that much extra time. Which is a bit unfortunate because I feel like most people either play Persona 4 either completely blind, so they're not going to be aware of all of these things, or with a max social link guide for trophy hunting or just to see all the content. Which does come with it the consequence of there's a lot of neat things that are in the game that most people are just not gonna see. So it is just a bit unfortunate that, you know, a lot of people do miss out on a lot of things that Persona 4 has, specifically Golden. Because there's very little room for deviation if you're going for a specific type of run, it just becomes a lot more... I think that's the closest I've ever seen the stairs to the entrance. like I said, it's unfortunate because there are a lot of interesting things that you can do and that you may want to do, but because there's a lot of things vying for your time and you don't really have much things otherwise, besides just spending your nights at the shrine if you need extra points, or just making lunch if you randomly need certain points, which was in the original Persona 4, but still, it becomes a lot harder to try to do. And keep in mind, I also have the benefit of doing this on a New Game Plus run. I didn't need to worry about trying to make sure I had all my social stats taken care of. For a lot of people, they might only do a single run. And so they do a max social link run just so that way they can see everything. But if they also just do a regular run and get their fill of it, because again, 100-hour game, there's still a lot of stuff that gets missed. So, I don't know. I do think that there is just a nice amount that you get when it comes to having some leeway, especially if you have to earn that leeway. Like, again, Kawakami and Chihaya's, those all come within their social links. Kawakami's comes from maxing hers out, and Chihaya's is usually around halfway through hers. And she gets available, I don't know, around 2/5 of the way through the game. So you still have to earn those things, but it does allow for a lot more room for experimentation and just trying out different things that the game offers. Of course, there are other things where it's like it'd be nice if it didn't take up your time, but again, part of the point of Persona is time management. So it's one of those tricky things that you have to balance of offering things that are helpful to the player while also facilitating what it is that they are trying to accomplish. And if you squeeze time too tightly, they'll forego the cool optional stuff in favor of what it is that they actually want to do. So, that's just my thing. I'm just gonna use a go home. At this point, I think we are good to call it a day. Hey, soul drop. So, next time on Let's Play Persona 4 Golden. We have the boss at the top of heaven. We will get through that, and we will begin to make our way through Magatsu Inaba. I do foresee this taking 3 episodes to get all the way up to where Adachi is. But we'll try our best to level ourselves up as much as possible. Unfortunately, just getting to the top of heaven only brought us up to 65, which is where we realistically should be when we fought Namatame, and more specifically, Kuni no Sagiri. So, it's gonna be a bit, it's gonna definitely be a bit just to make sure that we are at an appropriate level and we don't get our asses completely handed to us by Amano Sagiri. But it will be a challenge. So, we'll see and we'll do our best. If we need to do any extra training, we can. It sucks just because we don't have access to rainy days, so it's not like we really had a lot to do for grinding purposes. But in the meantime, we do still have options available to us. So if we need to do grinding, there are ways to do grinding. But in the meantime, boss at the top of heaven, and probably try to get to, if not beat the mid-boss of Magatsu. Beating the mid-boss of Magatsu Inaba might be too much of an ask. But at the very least, getting to the floor that it's at, that I think is a much more reasonable goal. Until next time, everyone, take care.